Hi everybody, it's Slinky here, and it's just a quick video on the CO2 Art inline diffuser. And this is just a maintenance video to show you how to clean these and how you should look after them if you're running CO2 and you're going to use one of these on a bigger planted tank. I use these on anything over 70 litres. So 70 litres plus, I use these for diffusion of CO2 into the planted tank. Some people use it on a bigger tank, some people, whatever. It's personal choice. I use them on 70 litres plus, more or less. So, as you can see, for me, you get a perfect diffusion. This goes on the outflow pipe, just after the filter. I have got some pictures on my Instagram channel of these actually working away. But yeah, they go just after where the outflow pipe leaves the filter itself, and you attach the outflow from the filter into the bottom, and then the rest of the pipe that goes up to your lily pipes or your jet pipe that goes into your tank. And then this part here will have a 4 or 5 mil tube or 6 mil tube coming from your CO2 regulator or your tank or whatever you're using to pump it out. Comes into here, CO2 gets blasted into here through the ceramic ring, and it gets caught into the flow that's going through and then pushed into the tank. So you get maximum diffusion through a big ceramic ring here. If you imagine the inline, the in-tank diffusers, it's got a little ceramic cap on top of a plastic hook usually that diffuses the bubbles. It's a tiny surface area. This is a massive surface area, so you get really good CO2 dissipation into the flow really. And what we're going to do is you should clean these every 4 or 5 months, because the part that, you know, if you have a planted tank and you've seen the pipes that leave your filter, they get full of detritus. So every 2 or 3, maybe 2 months or something like that, you have to clean them to keep them nice and clean. You don't get to see much of the inside of this because it's hidden. You'll usually see this part here, but you've got a pipe over here. Now, if you've got using black pipes, you're never going to see what's inside here, and it does get gunked up, believe me. So every 2 or 3 months, you should clean these. Now, it's worth that if you're using one of these, you can order spares from CO2 Art. So just order a spare one of these ceramic rings or the ceramic diffuser, which I'm going to show you in a minute. I have got a new one just out of shop, which we're going to put into this one. As you can see, this is already clean. I have given it a clean, but I'm going to show you how to strip them down. And they're dead simple. They're really simple. So all we've got is the main housing itself, and we've got 2 clamps for the hoses, like you would on any filter. So just undo the bottom one. Now, always remember on this CO2 Art one, and then I have various other ones out there in the market, how they work depends, you know, read the instruction manual on them. And these will come with a little bit of an instruction. There's videos on YouTube with how to set them up, but it leaves the filter, the pipe, or the water leaves the filter and comes into the clear part, and then the top part goes to your tank. So I've undone the bottom clamp. We're just going to undo the top clamp, spin it round, take them off. Because they're external, they don't get really dirty, so there's no need to clean these. Just put them to one side. You've then got the rest of the filter, the diffuser housing. This part where the CO2 comes in, you can take this out. Just bear in mind, behind here is a seal. Obviously, it's 2 aluminium parts that screw into each other. Gas could dissipate out of it and leak out of it. So there is a tiny little O-ring in there. It's a red one, so you can't miss it. All you do, just give it a turn anti-clockwise. You'll hear it come out. That's that part. Put that to one side again. You don't really need to clean that. And in there you can see the little red O-ring. Tap it onto your hand. There it is. Give them a wipe. Don't lube them up. They are soft rubber. If you need spares, no doubt you'll be able to get some from CO2 Art's website, but I've had these now, or this one, for 2 years, 3 years. Absolutely fine, these rings. There's a number of seals in these, which I'll show you, but that's the smallest one that you're going to have. And it's more of like a round profile to it. Not round in the circle, but the actual ring itself. I know the focus isn't working very well, but keep that to one side. You're then left with just the body itself. All you're going to do is twist these apart, like so, and it comes out. There's some rubber seals in here. We'll put that to one side. And you can take this diffuser out. When you're touching these diffusers, or these ceramic diffusers, try not to touch them with your fingers, because at all times you've got grease on your hands and you can block the little tiny pores up and cause problems for yourself. And as you can see, the inside of that's a little bit brown. I have given this a clean. As you can see, it's quite clear as it is, or quite clean as it is. I have given this a clean. I've soaked it in. I always give them a brush out and give them a soaking in some bleach, but I've not cleaned this in months, so it's really stained it on the inside. Still works, and it'll still work, so I'll save that as a spare. We'll put that to one side and leave the tissue there. In the clear part of this housing, you can see a red rubber seal. Just take that one out. There's the first one. Comes with a number of seals, these. You'll see the small red one before, that's for where the CO2 goes into the housing. This one is what the ceramic diffuser sits on in the clear part. So the red O-ring sits in the clear part, okay? Put that to one side. This normally, it wouldn't be dirty in the main barrel, but it would be here, because you can imagine, like I say, you've got pipe work attached to the bottom, pipe work attached to the top of the black part. Water's going through it all the time, and just like your pipes on your tank, they do get gunked up, so they will need cleaning. And you will see usually these are full of detritus and all sorts of rubbish, so just give that a clean. So we'll put that there, that's ready. There's no seals in there, there's nothing you can lose, because we've put the red one to one side. In the top, there's two frosted or clear seals in here. Just give it both of them came out at once, that's good. So you can see you've got two in this top black part. Different size, one can fit inside the other, okay. The bigger one goes to the top, and that seals where these two join, okay, to stop any gas coming out of this part here. So the bigger clear one, or the bigger frosted one, sits in the top of this part, and as this screws down, seals against that and stops any CO2 coming out of the main body itself. Put that to one side, don't lose it. The other one that's in here is a smaller clear one. Now, this is the same diameter as the red one, and it's also the same diameter. I don't really want to touch it, I will just tell you. It's the same diameter as the actual ceramic ring itself, or the ceramic disc that fits inside the housing. Both of these are the same size. I don't really suppose it matters which way you put these in, but when they come from CO2 that's in the clear part, this is in the black part. Just keep it like that. Put them to one side. You can give them a wipe. There's no need to lube them up with anything, because the lube, if you put any petroleum jelly or anything like that on them rings, it could get onto the diffuser and really hinder the way that the CO2 is diffused into the tank, and you could lead to trouble. So as you can see now, this is nice and empty. No more seals in this. There's only two in this at one time, and there's only one in the clear part. This is nice and empty. We'll put them there, tissue over there. And what you normally do is get yourself some really lightly soaked water. This is warm water, lukewarm water, 1 drop of washing up liquid in there. Just give it a stir around so it gets nice and frothy. Drop these in there, and I've got this little pipe cleaner here, a fixed pipe cleaner. And all you'd normally do is just give it a good clean inside it, okay? Dead simple to do. Once you give them a clean, rinse them under warm water, under tap water, or whatever water you've got, but just give them a clean, rinse all the soap off, leave them to dry. You can give them a rub down with a tea towel to dry them out if you want, but once you've done that, that's it. And putting them back together is just reversal of taking them apart. So, as we've said, in the black part here, we get the first smaller ring, and we drop that right down and make sure it sits nice and flush. I know you can't see it because of the light. No, you can't see it, but it is in there, okay? You get the bigger one and drop that just at the top, okay? You will be able to see that, it's just in the top there. In this part as well, you've got the small O-ring, and you can see where the attachment for the CO2 coming off from the 6mm tube comes from the regulator, attaches to the body. If you didn't put this O-ring into the seat, CO2 would leak out the sides. So all you do is just drop it into there, like so. Get this part and softly screw it in. If you turn it backwards on itself, i.e. counterclockwise, very slowly you'll hear it drop and click. And that's when you know that the threads have aligned. Then you can start to tighten up clockwise. All the time, just spin it round and have a look that the red ring hasn't twisted or anything like that, and it's nicely sat in there. Give it a tight, hand tight, and an extra turn. That's it. Don't over tighten it, and don't use any tools to tighten these up, because you'll just squish the ring and split it probably and break it, and then you'll be putting CO2 in here, into this, and you'll come into the room and you'll smell CO2, and it can be dangerous, obviously, as you know. So that part's done. The seals are still in there. We'll put that to one side. We get the clear part and the red seal. We drop the red seal in, give it a tap, and the red seal's in there. Okay. We then get the new diffuser. So we've got a brand new diffuser that we bought as a spare from CO2 Art, and all you're going to do is drop that in there. Okay, you can see it sat on top of the red seal there. We then get the black housing, both on the side, tighten it up. Again, once they're tightened up, hand tight. Don't use any tools again. You're twisting again, so you're clamping down this part and this part onto a rubber seal. If you use tools like mole grips to try and tighten them up, you'll over tighten it, crack the housing, or, I mean, this is plastic and this top half here is aluminium, this bottom part is plastic, and you'll just either break the seals or break the housing, and you've wasted your money. Okay, that's it. The hose clamps then go on. It doesn't really matter which way you put these, it's just one, I don't know if you can see it in there, it's just one lip, twisted lip in there. Doesn't really matter, or I found it never matters anyway. And that's it, we're back together again. We've got the dirty, or what would normally be dirty hose, diffuser. This is now ready, so we can put this to one side and put it back on the tank. This, what you'd normally do is, if you're cleaning them every 3 or 4 months, a bit sooner if it's on a new tank, because you'll go through the diatom phase if you're using, well, any water, if you're using RO water, you'll still go through the diatom phase. This will gunk up quicker in the beginning when you've just started a new planter tank. So every month or 2 months, I would soak this in a mixture of bleach. That's the right way to do it. I don't, I'm a lazy bugger. So I just run this, and then I go, like, in 6 months time, I'll think, oh, give the filter a good clean. And then while I've got the filter out and giving that a good clean inside the housing, the filter housing itself, that's when I'll look inside here and see it's absolutely gunked up. And I forgot to give it a clean, and it's too late, and it's stained, but it's still usable. So you can drop this into a solution of lighter thin bleach, 50-50. So 50% water, 50% bleach. Put it into a little tub. I haven't got one, but a Tropica plant tub, what you get the tissue culture plants in. So the 1-2 grow, I use one of them. These fit in perfectly. So one of those little tubs that's cleaned out from an old plant that you've used, fill it 50-50 with water and bleach, and drop this in once you've given it a clean with the soap and this. But again, try not to touch this. You'll get grease, or you grease off your fingers onto it, and it becomes useless. So give it a clean with that, with water, rinse it out under the tap, then drop it into your little solution of bleach and water, leave it to soak for 24 hours, and it should be nice and clean. So I'll use that as a spare. And that's it. Really good way of diffusing CO2 into your tank. All you'd normally do is, on the filter, the outflow pipe, when it leaves, I would say from here to here, where my finger's eyes, around about 2 to 3 inches. So you're going to cut a small section out, aren't you? So once the filter's been drained down, or the pipes have been drained down, you can take your lily pipes or whatever pipes you're using, cut into the outflow pipe, slide 1/2 onto this from the filter. So from the filter onto the clear part, back to the tank on this part, CO2 6mm cable, 6mm tubing onto this, and it attaches just via a little sleeve, like you would do on your regulator. A little sleeve there, slide that onto your tube, push your tube onto the nipple, and then tighten this up to clamp it up. Again, on none of these parts do you need to use a tool. You can do everything by hand, and it's better if you do everything by hand. So there you go, there's the strip down of a CO2 Art inline diffuser, how to clean it, how to put it back together again, what to do and what not to do. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you've liked it, and leave a comment below if you've used one of these or you've had any experience with one of these, good or bad. Leave your comments below, and I look forward to getting back to you. Take care. Bye bye.